I used to think social media's mental health tips were like a quirky little horoscope for your brain. A bit silly maybe, but mostly harmless. That is, until I saw them twisting the most normal, everyday human experiences into catastrophic diagnoses that sound like they were invented by a committee of internet goblins. Ever been doom scrolling at 3 a.m. and a 60-second video with sparkly text and a pointing influencer suddenly convinces you that your lifelong habit of losing your keys means your brain is basically a smoothie? Yeah, you're not alone. The problem is, this content is often dangerously, spectacularly wrong. One major analysis of 500 TikTok videos by PlushCare found that a staggering 83.7% of the mental health advice on the platform is misleading. For some topics, it's even worse. 100% of the popular ADHD videos analyzed were found to be misleading. 100%. That's not a C for effort. That's an F for find a real doctor. Over 90% of videos about bipolar disorder and depression were also junk. The platform is a minefield of bad advice, and today, we're putting on our hazmat suits and wading in. We'll look at the most viral and damaging trends, break down why they're so powerful, and talk about how to protect yourself from an algorithm that wasn't designed to help you. There is something important to understand before we go any further. Most of this content is not created to help you heal. It is created to help you stay watching. Welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Let's start with the big one. The ADHD self-diagnosis palooza. It feels like every other video is someone listing off secret ADHD traits, like having trouble starting a big project, getting distracted during a boring task, or being a bit forgetful. The video goes viral, the comments explode with "OMG, this is literally me," and suddenly thousands of people are convinced they have a neurodevelopmental disorder because they can't find their chapstick. Here's the deal. The way ADHD is portrayed online is so oversimplified it makes a stick figure look like a Renaissance painting. These videos cherry-pick traits that are either common to many different conditions or are just part of being a person and rebrand them as definitive proof of ADHD. Of course you have trouble focusing on a task you find mind-numbingly boring. That's not a symptom, that's your soul trying to escape your body. This has created a feedback loop from hell. You watch one relatable video, and social media's algorithm, whose only goal is to glue your eyeballs to the screen, goes, "Ooh, you like that existential dread? Here are 50 more, each one more convincing than the last." It's confirmation bias on steroids. It's led to a point where countless adults now suspect they have ADHD, when in reality, the clinical prevalence in the adult population is estimated to be around 2–3%. We're not having a sudden explosion of ADHD, we're having an explosion of diagnosing yourself based on a 15-second video set to a trending pop song. The real danger here is that while these videos provide a quick hit of validation, they are a terrible substitute for a real diagnosis from a professional who can see the whole picture. Relying on them dramatically increases your chances of getting it wrong. Difficulty concentrating can be a symptom of ADHD, but it can also be a sign of anxiety, depression, burnout, or the fact you survived on 3 hours of sleep and a bag of chips. A 30-second video can't tell you the difference, but it can absolutely send you down a path of needless anxiety. This isn't just an ADHD problem, it's a platform-wide bonanza where normal human feelings are being systematically rebranded as scary pathologies. Feeling sad after a breakup gets labeled a depressive episode. Feeling nervous before public speaking becomes crippling social anxiety. Getting angry because someone cut you off in traffic is framed as an emotional dysregulation issue. This trend both trivializes the struggles of people with actual diagnosed illnesses and gives perfectly healthy people a new exciting anxiety to worry about. One of the most devious formats is the "according to psychology" video. A creator, who usually has the same qualifications in psychology as my cat, starts with that phrase to sound credible, then spews a gross oversimplification or a total fabrication. It's no surprise that research from PlushCare found that 91% of social media creators giving mental health advice have no relevant qualifications. The other 9% are the actual experts whose voices are drowned out by a global game of telephone where complex theories get mangled into unrecognizable gibberish. Some creators try to look more credible by flashing a scientific article on screen for 0.7 seconds, but it's often just a prop. They might cherry-pick a line out of context or completely misrepresent the findings. For example, a 2022 study found that about 52% of the most popular ADHD videos on social media were misleading. And as we saw earlier, for topics like bipolar disorder, that number skyrockets to over 90%. That's a higher failure rate than my attempt at baking sourdough during lockdown. This isn't about gatekeeping information, it's about not getting your medical advice from the same place you get your dance challenges. When you label every fleeting moment of sadness as depression, you do two things. First, you create hypervigilance, making people feel broken for having a bad day. Second, you water down the meaning of these clinical terms, which can make it harder for people who are genuinely struggling to be taken seriously. By the way, if you're finding this breakdown helpful and want to learn more about navigating online information critically, take a second to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and you won't miss our future videos. If pathologizing everyday life wasn't bad enough, there's another trend that swerves in the opposite, even more bonkers direction, the undiagnosis trend. In these videos, creators comically undiagnose themselves from serious conditions they previously self-diagnosed for reasons that are just plain dumb. You'll see someone say they've undiagnosed their eating disorder because they just ate a sandwich, or that they don't have PTSD because they've never been a combat veteran. They're played for laughs, but the message is incredibly damaging. Dr. Jackie Nisi, an assistant professor of psychiatry, points out that this kind of content can convince people that serious conditions are either fake or apply only to the most extreme movie character stereotypes. It flattens complex, painful human experiences into a cheap punchline. Someone with a real, undiagnosed eating disorder might see a video making light of it and decide their problem isn't serious enough for help. Someone with complex PTSD from non-combat trauma might feel like their experience isn't valid. These jokes lean into lazy cliches, which makes anyone who doesn't fit a narrow stereotype feel isolated. It's the chaotic evil twin of the self-diagnosis coin, and it's just as dangerous, encouraging people who might truly need help to dismiss their own suffering because it doesn't look like the caricature on their For You page. The goal here is not to scare you away from mental health content. It is to help you engage with it without letting it hijack how you see yourself. You do not need to reject everything online. You just need better filters. So, what are we supposed to do? Delete all our apps and go live in a cave? Probably not. The Wi-Fi is terrible. These conversations are helping to destigmatize mental health, and for some, seeing a relatable video is the first step toward getting real help. The key is to shift from being a passive content sponge to a critical consumer with a finely tuned BS detector. First, always question the source. Who is this person? Are they a licensed psychologist, psychiatrist, or therapist? Or are they a mindset coach whose only credential is a certificate they printed themselves? Personal experience is valid, but it is not a substitute for years of professional training. One person's story is just that. One person's story. It is not a diagnostic tool. Second, understand the difference between relating to a symptom and having a disorder. A mental health diagnosis isn't a BuzzFeed quiz you fill out while watching videos. It's a comprehensive evaluation by a professional who looks for a persistent pattern of symptoms that cause significant impairment in your life. Feeling disorganized sometimes is an experience. Being literally unable to hold down a job because of executive dysfunction is a disorder. Third, recognize what real help looks like. It's not a 30-second hack that promises a cure. Real support is a process tailored to you. It's about building coping strategies and working with someone who provides nuanced, evidence-based guidance. It's often slow, sometimes difficult, and always personal. The good news? Research shows that expert-led content can actually help reverse the damage, correcting the nonsense and reassuring people who have been led astray. Your mental health journey is far too important to be outsourced to an algorithm that's designed for watch time not well-being. The algorithm doesn't care if the advice is true, it only cares if it's engaging. And nothing is more engaging than the fear that your entire personality is actually a secret, undiagnosed illness. But you have the power to tell that algorithm to take a hike. You can choose to seek out credible sources, question simplistic narratives, and prioritize professional guidance over viral trends. Taking control of your mental health starts with being an informed critical thinker. If you're ready to move beyond the algorithm, subscribe for more content that cuts through the noise. And now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know, what's the most absurd or unhinged psychology hack you've ever seen online? Let's talk about it.